Hello everybody, I wanted to show you how we're going to make a template for our website mockup. So you're free to use Adobe Portfolio if you want to create this project through that. I think that that's a really good choice because then it has something that you can keep building off of and working from later. And I would like to encourage you to have things that you can leave with that you can use in the future, and I want that for you. So in case you want to do that, that's an option for you. Feel free to use a different website builder if you want. It's not a portfolio class. Know that I only need you to create one page. I don't need you to build a whole website for this one project. And also I'm not, Adobe Portfolio should come free with your Adobe subscription through school, or like part of the Creative Cloud package at least. And that's the only reason that I'm recommending it necessarily. You can go with something free, or you can just make a mockup like we're doing here. But I just wanted to explain that option to you, and let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to choose web, and I want us to use web large. So that's going to be 1920 by 1080 pixels, 72 ppi this time, which is a lower resolution, which means that our pieces are going to load up a little faster. Another option might be to use some of these templates that are down here. That could be awesome. But I'm just going to go with this default one here and click create. I didn't mean for us to open it up with artboard, so let me just redo that and just check off artboards right here. Okay. Actually, I might want that later. We'll see. Alright, so the first thing I want us to do, I want to show you how to include grids. So I'm going to go down through edit and preferences, and then I can choose guides, grids, and slices. And that's going to open this up. And I believe I'm on the right one. Yeah. So we can choose to add in a grid in the background if we want to. It's up to you guys. And we can try to do, let's do it to pixels, and let's do every 50 pixels maybe. Oh. Good. Okay. Alright, so this is what I wanted us to take a look at. Even if you're not using Adobe Portfolio to create a website, it might be a good idea to look at some references. And so we might use one of these as kind of an idea for our template. We don't need to use it specifically, but just something to think about. And what we will be doing is dropping in our posters that we created this semester. So I think I like something like this where it has these tall rectangular shapes, because most of our posters are going to be that size. And then I think I want to include something for our mockups as well to go over or next to. And then I like personally when tabs are on the left like this, so I might try to do something a little bit like that. Some important information to keep in your portfolio site or any website is having a navigation tab. So here it says portfolio, about, contact, blog. Here it says portfolio, about, contact, and that's going to be kind of a consistent thing throughout. Sometimes it might be hidden in a menu, sometimes it might be horizontal across the top, sometimes it might be vertical across the side like this one, and this one. So that should be something that you're including. The other thing should be your name should be in your portfolio, so make it your own. You don't necessarily have to use a template, but I do want you to try to keep it organized and clean, and very readable. Work on the alignment, so that might be using guides or grids or aligning your frames, anything like that. And then we can add buttons, or we can just add text that would work as a button. That's about all of our requirements necessarily, so let's jump in here. And let's go back to preferences. Maybe we want 200 pixels. 150. That might be better. Let's do that. And then I also, let's hide the grid for a second and go to guides, new guide layout. Let's clear all of this out and let's go to 24 columns works really well for me. And let's do that with rows too, and we'll set it up to have, let's go for 3. Maybe we'll go for 4. Yeah, I think I can picture that. Okay, so we have our background. Let's add a color for our background. I'm gonna go for maybe a charcoal gray. And you guys choose whatever you want to use, okay? And our grid should also still be visible. Whew, that is too hard to see. I'm not the biggest fan of grids. I like guides a lot more, even though that's kind of hard to see too. And then let's pull in our pictures that we're gonna use. Okay, I've dropped in all of my images. I'm gonna do Control U on my background layer to pull up the hue and saturation tab, and I think I wanna make it even darker. And then let's get some guides going again. So I have that pulled up. And I think I want to make this a little bit easier on myself. So let's clear that. Guides, new guide layout. And let's just set that to 12. Let's see, we have 7 posters right now. Let's assume we'll have 8. So let's make it 9. And then let's not put a gutter in at all. Oh, I'm not thinking I need to have a margin though. Guides, new guide layout. Oops. Let's do, actually, let's do 8 by 10. And let's say we want 8 of those. What's that in inches, pixels? Oh, let's do this, 8 by 10. Nope. 10. That doesn't seem like it's gonna come out correct. Maybe we want that 10 by 8 this time. Oh. Let's go back. Okay, that looks better. Let's go through that for a second and get these all spaced out. So I'm going to do Control G to group those, hide them for now. And then let's create some frames. And let's drag out a square that is 8 by 10. Okay. Pull them out of the darkness. All right. Now let's get our ratio figured out. So I'm not holding shift so that I can scale it uniformly. And I think something like that would be nice. So let's create a frame that Control R. Let's create some guides for that. And now let's create some frames. Yeah. So we'll go to the frame tool, drag out a few of these. There we go. I don't know why it's trying to put them in my group. Let's undo that a little. There we go. Try again. Okay. Did it again. Weird. Okay, it didn't have a problem that time. Pretty odd if you ask me, but whatever. Okay. And so if we have 3, we can do 8 at a time. We can crop this background. Let's press C, clear that. I don't even want the same ratio. There we go. And then I just want to pull that straight down. Grab that background color and fill that in. Okay, so now that we have that, and we know that this one is going to be we need that to be a different color, so maybe we can change that guide. Okay, so that should be the height of our screen size, that orange line there. And then we can still see our margins, but just in case we need to know how it's going to look as a scroll, that's how we'd be able to see it. So let's duplicate our frames. I'll group those top 3, top row, duplicate that and drag it straight down. And let's give it the same amount of space. That looks right. And let's do that one more time. There we go. And it would be better if I used grids to figure that out, or our guides or something like that. Let's rename this to be middle row and bottom row. And I also want to organize it to be that way because I will get confused. Okay, so with that figured out, now we know where our images would be falling. So let's drag and drop a few of those into our tabs here, into our frames. There we go. That one's not gonna let me, but that's okay because I just need the video portion. Ooh. Perfect. Oh, did I not put the one with my text in? Oh, it's just a bit zoomed in. Maybe I want it to be a white background, I don't know. I actually also have that one. I'm gonna replace this frame. Yeah. And let's go for this one. Okay. So now we have 2 blank spots just in case we add more content later. So let's go back to the top and let's add some text in. And let's pull up our guide, and I'm just gonna tap and click. And okay. Let's use the alignment, keep things organized. And let's create a navigation on the left. Actually, what if we shrink this down? There we go. Because we don't have that much content on here. So I think it might look nicer to have everything visible on top. Okay. If only it would just cooperate. Wouldn't that be so nice? And in fact, let's get rid of these. These don't need to be separate rows anymore. Does not want to do it. Okay, let's see how we want to organize this. Just eyeballing it, and then we'll use the guides and grids to organize it even better. Do we want it to all fit across like that? I think I don't want it to fit like that. I think it'd be better to have it 4x4 since we should have basically 8 posters by the end. There we go. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, we got rid of our 8. Okay, so now let's have a top row and a bottom row, and let's scooch this down. In fact, let's just use all of the tools at our disposal. Okay. Let's align those to the top and space them out evenly. Let's clear the rest of the guides now. Don't want any columns, let's just do guides. And let's drag out a few of these. Just to keep it all nice and even. These do not like to move. Don't know why. That one does. Okay, let's do that. Align them evenly, grab the bottom ones, align them evenly, and set them to align to the top. And make sure that they are set to be even with the grid there. Alrighty. Try that one more time. Okay, excellent. And luckily, almost all of my posters did get labeled, which is great, even when they are switching directions. So let's add in a label over here just to keep it even. And then what I'd like to do is layer on my mockups and my navigation next to it. So let's make this 20. Let's call it portfolio. Make that a little bit bigger. Let's change the font for that. And I'm just gonna use one frame for this. Let's do portfolio, about, and contact maybe. And let's space those out a bit more. Let's make it an even 60 just because. Okay. let's grab some of these mock-ups, and instead of including the background on them, let's place let's group these first, posters, and then add add a small one here and just see how this goes before we get too far ahead of ourselves. That out. Oh, some of my stuff didn't save. Oh, that's a shame. That's okay though. Let's add this in. And what I'd like to do is drop the Photoshop file into this frame instead of the image. Yeah. And then if we double click on this, let's close that one to not get confused. Let's hide the background and save it. And watch it update. Good. And then we can kind of layer on our pieces here, and it looks like there's also a shadow. Yeah, let's turn the whole background off and save it. Okay, excellent. Let's do that for the mockups that I do have. So let me drag those in. Okay, I've dropped in all of my mockups and I fixed this poster, just shortened it so that it's on the same timeline as the other one basically. Okay, so then what I did was I downloaded a mockup from Mockup Free, like we have been doing. So it's just another Mockup Free one. I cropped it a little on this one. But then I double clicked here. I got a computer screen for this one. So I double clicked there and then I dragged out another frame which has my template on it. So now I have my template on here. So I'll save this one so that it'll update here. Let's wait for it to update. Okay, so now it's updated here, and the frame is just a little bit bigger in the mockup than in my template. No big deal, I just extended that gray area just a little bit, and now it appears on my screen. So we need to save this one, so that'll pop up the way that we want it to over here. All right. And we could create a video timeline and play that back, and it should have some motion that happens down here with my motion poster. And it's not going to want to load that because it's going to be too big right now, but don't worry, you might try it on yours. I'm not going to worry about it for right now. And if you just have a still image of your motion poster, I'm fine with that. I know that it eats up a lot of resources on a computer. And then what we could do is make a separate artboard for our phone version if we wanted to. We don't have to. The main thing is to just have this part. If you've got that, I'm happy. If you want to design it more than that, if you want to do more stuff to it, that'd be awesome. I want you to make it your own. I want you to get to be creative. But for the most part, I just want to see your mockups and your posters all laid out in the way that we worked on them. So maybe we can say portfolio and tab over and say poster series 1, number 1. And try to make that look like it's part of the tab that came before it. Maybe we put in a little pointer even. Nah, I don't like that. Okay. All right. I hope that you guys enjoy this project and that it's not too complicated. And I am looking forward to seeing what you guys create. Have a good one.